Hey everyone, I'm back again, and this time I'm taking a look at the Bite and Fight T-Rex. I'm starting to lose track of all these different T-Rex names, but this T-Rex is finally in movie accurate colours to the original Rexy from the first Jurassic Park film and the two Jurassic World films, and it's a completely new sculpt, even though it's the same size as the previous T-Rex we got. Now this one doesn't have any electronic features, but it does have a play gimmick, an action feature, which I'll show you in a bit. But first I'll go over the sculpt and the paint job. It's a very similar head sculpt to the one we had before. Some lovely detailing in there, going down the back. And I really like the brown kind of tiger stripe paint job along his back here as well. There are some darker patches too on his head there and going down in the middle. Gorgeous sculpting in the skin, all the lines and wrinkles. Going down to the tip of the tail. And then on the other side here, going down. You can see he's got some of those scars on his thigh, or her thigh I should say. The only parts that were unpainted are the nails on his hand, or her hand, and the toenails at the back there, but that's pretty standard for all of the T-Rexes, but I painted them myself, as you can see. Now, articulation wise, the head can move either side like that, back and forth, so you can get some different poses that way. The arms will come out and in, as well as up and down, forward and backwards. You've got the swivel on the ankles there, which are nice and tight. The swivel on the Spinosaurus is a bit loose, but on the T-Rex here they kind of click into place, which is nice. I don't really like that articulation because it makes the T-Rex look weird. If you don't have it in place where it matches the sculpt, it looks like his ankles are broken or something, but sometimes it helps to balance them. And then there's a waggle in the tail, but that's part of the action feature. Now for the action feature, there are two buttons on the back, which you probably saw when I was showing you the sculpt and the paint job. You press the back button to make the tail wiggle. And the end of the tail is a bit heavier, so it helps to waggle it. A bit of weight in there. And then you press the front button to give it this striking action where the head kind of swoops down to the side and chomps. Now I quite like this because it's something a bit different. On the other T-Rexes we've had, it's always a forward striking action, so I like that this kind of swings round to the side. I can imagine the T-Rex chasing after someone and then swinging round to grab them. Yeah, it's a hard time grabbing any of the figures or dinosaurs you try and chomp with it. It just tends to kind of knock them over because the jaws aren't strong enough to hold the figures once it swoops down to grab them. But it's still quite fun to play around with. But personally, I'd be happy with just a T-Rex with nice articulation. I don't really need the play gimmick. And I especially don't like that the mouth is always hanging open. I think a lot of people didn't like this with their first wave of Roarivores. So I'm surprised Mattel have done it again with this T-Rex. He's kind of constantly got this slack-jawed look on his face. I'd much rather it be closed all the time and then open when you press a button rather than the other way around. But there is a way, if you want to have him posed with his mouth closed on your shelf, to do it. And all you need to do is get a thin bit of wood or plastic and slide it under the jaw there, and it will create enough. I've just got a little black bit of plastic here I cut off of an old ice cream tub lid, and that gives enough friction to hold the mouth closed, and it easily slides back out again if you want to use the play feature or take it out for whatever reason. As well as holding the mouth closed, there's also enough friction there that you can just open the mouth slightly if you want to, like that. So it gives you more of a variety of poses, so you can have it closed, slightly open, or completely wide as it would naturally be. And now for a size comparison between the two. Here they are together. The Thrash and Throw and the Bite and Fight. both completely unique sculpts from each other. There's no shared parts, which is awesome. It's so great to get more T-Rexes now rather than just the sandy colour one all the time, who I am now going to name Sandy, as this grey one is a more accurate Rexy. And I know the Thrash and Throw is supposed to be Rexy, but since it's a completely different colour, I'm just going to use it as a different T-Rex. And soon we'll have the green Lost World one as well. So that'll be 3 completely different T-Rexes. So they're finally catching up with the Velociraptors. So that should give you some idea of how they scale next to each other. As I say, they're pretty much the same size. Just nice to have more Jurassic World toys out again, because it's been a few months in the UK since we've had any. And now here he is next to the Spinosaurus, and they're pretty much the same size as well. Really depends how you pose them. If you have the Spinosaurus standing more upright, then he is bigger than Rexy. He's got a larger torso and longer back legs. It's just the tail that tends to then make Rexy a little bit longer, or at least about the same size. That Spinosaurus really could have done with a slightly longer tail. And finally, I have to do it, Rexy next to Old Red from the original toy line. And that Old Red does still hold up as a pretty good T-Rex toy. May not be as movie accurate, but it's still a really nice sculpt, really nice looking dinosaur. Hopefully I'll be getting that new Lost World set in the next week or two, so I can review that as well. I'm really excited about. And thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.